The rise in banking scams is fast becoming increasingly alarming. Experts, banks and fraud prevention services are sounding the alarm about a surge in criminal activity that is aimed at accessing your bank accounts. With sophisticated tactics on the rise, the financial sector is bracing for a challenge ahead. And to further unpack this, let's extend a very warm welcome to Nazia Karrim, Head of Product Development for the Southern African Fraud Prevention Services. Nazia, so great to have you with us. Very good afternoon to you. So very concerning, the rising cases of digital fraud with a sole purpose to fleece consumers of their hard-earned cash. Let's talk about some of the most common tactics that are used in the recent banking scams.
Good afternoon, Alicia. Thanks for having me. So currently, fraudsters are targeting consumers in various ways, trying to get them to compromise either themselves or their devices by, for example, clicking on a malicious link or stealing their mobile devices and hacking into these devices, overriding perhaps the biometrics on some models, and then gaining access to the applications. In other cases, scammers are actually impersonating employees from these particular institutions, calling to confirm suspicious transactions on your accounts, and needing you to verify or authorize that the transaction is in fact valid by providing your passwords and your PINs, maybe even an OTP that was generated to your device. And in more scary, more terrifying cases, the victims are actually being kidnapped and forced to make payments from their mobile devices.
Very worrying indeed. And who is most at risk, Nazia? We know not everybody is tech savvy. And how can they then still progress with technology usage, but at the same time protect themselves? Because these scammers are so sophisticated. Even some who are well versed in technology have also been victims.
Unfortunately, that is true. Today, digital literacy is a problem in our country. It's something we need to focus on in terms of educating ourselves and staying aware and abreast of what's going on. But most importantly, we need to protect our personal information, our passwords, and prevent ourselves and our devices from being compromised. Social engineering, for example, is a popular method used by fraudsters to glean information about you, to better understand your habits, your behaviors, and then use this information to entice you, resulting in you compromising yourself or your device and giving them the opportunity to impersonate you or hack your mobile device. We should start employing things like two-factor authentication on every opportunity that you can get. And we should not act impulsively. If we receive phishing phone calls from scammers pretending to be employees of these institutions, don't provide them with any information or confirm or deny any information they provide you. Thank them for informing you and hang up. Call the bank using the contact details found in the back of your bank card or on your statement or on their official website. They will advise you further on what to do. We need to be more digitally responsible and practice active awareness to ensure that we stay informed about the trends and how to prevent ourselves from falling victim.
Absolutely. Now, a lot has been said, of course, Nazia, about the fact that a lot of people did not know about the fact that should your device be stolen, you actually need to report it to an actual bank if you had, of course, some banking apps on your phone. Tell us why this is.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, one of the tactics used by fraudsters is to actually steal the device and then hack into it. Your application on that phone is linked to that device. So your banking app has that device linked as the device that's used for your banking. If you don't report that device as stolen, transactions that are processed via that device will be seen as legitimate. It is important then for you to report it immediately to the bank. So the moment they know that device is stolen, any transactions that are processed on that app via that device will then be rejected. Else, the transactions are going to be processed and authorized and you will lose your funds.
Absolutely. So run to the bank, call the bank before you even make it to the police station, particularly if you have loads of money on your stolen device that has your banking apps. And back to your earlier very interesting point, Nazia, there, the fact that these scammers can actually gain even biometric access on your mobile device. I mean, there's been a finding that actually some cell phones are more vulnerable in their security levels, and scammers are then easily able to bypass these measures. I know we can't mention the device models, Nazia, as well as makes right now, but is there a way that some consumers can then go to look for more information on these devices so they try their best in order to avoid them?
Well, obviously it's a device. We cannot control how the manufacturer makes that device, but what we can control is the level of information we keep on that device, and we can make it more difficult for the fraudsters to access it. When you store information on the device, make sure it's logged behind a password or behind a safe. When you log onto your profiles, make sure you log off after using the profiles. Don't keep any applications open without being able to access it via a password. So even if the device is stolen and the device is in fact hacked, to get in, they will still require a password to hack into each one of those applications. If you don't log off, if you don't put on two-factor authentication onto those applications, you're making it very easy for the scammer to just get in, use the device's original hack, and then be able to have free access to all of your applications and information without needing to go past a second level of verification.
I know I asked you this a bit earlier on, Nazia, in terms of which other ways can consumers then, endorse or explore in order to further protect themselves. I mean, we understand that you have this initiative that your organization runs where one can actually apply for the information to be protected. How does it work? How and where do consumers apply, and who can apply?
Well, one of the solutions that SAFPS provides is a protective registration. If you feel you've been compromised, if you've lost your ID, if you've lost your device, contact SAFPS and register yourself for a protective registration. This, in turn, will allow us to be able to inform all our members that you've been a victim of a particular crime. This will institute a second level of protection from your side so that you cannot be impersonated, that your identity is not going to be further compromised. The institutions will make sure that whoever is standing in front of them trying to open up an account in your name is in fact the correct person and not someone impersonating you, therefore leaving you with a debt that was not yours, and having the institution suffer the loss of an application fraud from that application.
Very interesting indeed, in the time where there's serious reports and cases of identity theft. Now, Nazia, I mean, banks are the biggest targets in these type of scams. So what steps have the financial institutions themselves undertaken in order to counteract, of course, the rise in the banking scams?
Well, financial institutions are collaborating with institutions like ourselves, the SAFPS, and various other professional bodies, including law enforcement, to help drive the awareness around the various issues and also to help collate intelligence that can be used to apprehend the perpetrators. In South Africa, we are quite lucky. Our banks consider this one of a primary risk, and they take the time and effort to invest significant resources to protect their customers and make their banking apps, for example, safe to use. But what we need to remember is that the app is subject to the user's behavior and security habits as well. So if you go around sharing your passwords, visit insecure websites, or download questionable software onto your devices, you are opening yourself up to the risk of being hacked or compromised. Our fraudsters, once they have your credentials, they have all the information on all aspects of your life, not only your bank account, but they could possibly put your life in danger. We can't only hold the financial institution responsible for protecting us, we also need to do the other side and protect ourselves. And together, we will be able to fight against the scourge of scams and fraud.
Absolutely. And in closing, Nazia, have you observed that these scammers actually heighten their operations or activities at specific times in order to cash in? I mean, I know now the excitement in the country is currently the two-pot savings. People want to pay lobola with the two-pot income. And of course, the taxman is still reimbursing some of us our tax monies. Is this a correct assumption on my part?
It is absolutely 100% accurate. Just like how a normal store will look for peak season shopping to advertise, scammers look for that same peak season to target you. Right now, it's tax season, and with the two-pot pension protocol coming out, they're going to give you options to click here, press this button to find out more and how to spend this money or save this money or how to invest this money. And you're going to fall victim to it. So don't click on those links. Don't go to unauthorized websites. Rather go to your, for example, if you want to find out about that pension, how to spend it, how to use it, go to the actual investment company that it's invested with. They will advise you. Don't click on any links to find out more information. And don't invest in possible too good to be true investments. It's not going to happen. It's going to eat your money and you're going to make a loss. So be careful about those things. The scammer is looking to entice you, and you are going to fall victim if you are not careful about where you get your information from.
Thank you so much for those tips, Nazia Karrim, SA Fraud Prevention Services on the rise of digital as well as banking scams, sharing some tips also on how you can protect yourself against these scammers.